Hello students, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel Akifa's Commerce Classes. So in today's session, we'll discuss about commerce. In my earlier session, I discussed about industry, wherein I explained to you all how an industry is classified into three broad categories. First one was the primary industry, secondary industry and the tertiary industry. So today we are going to talk about commerce. So what is commerce actually about? We have to remember that commerce is basically a link, okay? It is a link between the producer and the consumer of goods and services. So commerce basically includes all those activities which ensure that there is a smooth flow of goods and services from the point of production till the consumption of goods. Now you have to remember that there are 2 points, okay? First is the point of production and point of consumption. So if the producer is producing goods here and the consumer is receiving goods here, in between there are various activities which are involved. So these activities are known as commerce. So you have to remember 2 things. Firstly, what is commerce? Commerce is about buying and selling of goods and services between the producer and the consumer. This is the first point. Second point, you have to remember that commerce is basically about all those activities which are required to see to it that the products are reaching from the producer to the customer. So this is commerce. I will give you all an example, okay? If for example there is Mr. A. So this Mr. A, he is into manufacturing breads, okay? So what he will do is, just manufacturing of breads is not sufficient. He has to see to it that this bread reaches to the customers. So all the activities or all the functions that he is going to perform to see to it that the bread reaches to the ultimate customer comes under commerce. For example, what he will do, first of all he will start with the advertisement, because advertisement plays a very important role, because until and unless there is no awareness about a particular product, the customer will not know that this particular product exists into the market. So it is very important to create an awareness about the product. After creating an awareness of the product, it is important to think about the storage, which means warehousing. So he has to arrange for the warehousing. Thirdly, he has to identify the retail outlets in which he is going to make his breads available. After he does that, he has to think about the transportation. That is how he is going to transport the breads from his place of production till the retail outlets. Then he has to think about how he will sell it to the customers and so on. So as you see that all these activities that were required in order to bring the breads from the point of production till the retail outlets, this comes under commerce. So you have to remember that commerce is basically about all those functions which are important to see to it that there is a smooth flow of goods and services from the point of production till the point of consumption. So let's start with trade. Now we have to remember that trade is a very important part of commerce. What does trade refer to? Trade refers to sale, transfer and exchange of goods and services. It also helps in making sure that the product reaches to the end customer. Now for example, if there is a manufacturer. Now this manufacturer may find it very difficult in order to sell his goods to the ultimate customer. So what will he do? What he does is, he sells it either to the wholesaler or the retailer, who then sell it to the ultimate customer. Like for example, if there is a grocery shop owner, okay? Now this grocery shop owner, he sells goods to the customer. So he sells the goods to the customer after he buys it either from the wholesaler or the manufacturer. Now students, we have to remember that there is a channel of distribution. First is the manufacturer, second is the wholesaler, third is the retailer and fourth is the customer. So the manufacturer and the retailer, they are said to be engaged in trading. Why they are said to be engaged in trading? Because they are not buying from the manufacturer for personal consumption, but they are doing so for further sale. So this is about trade. Another important thing we have to remember about trade is that it equalizes the demand and supply ratio. I will put it in more simple words with an example. Now we know that the state in India which produces rice in majority is Punjab. But the demand for rice in Punjab is not that high. Now what the traders do, just because the demand for rice from Punjab itself is not high, they buy the rice from those traders in Punjab and make it available to different other states where the demand is more. So here they are maintaining the demand and the supply ratio. Now you have to remember that on the basis of area of operation, the trade is classified into internal and external trade. So what is internal trade? Internal trade is when you sell within the geographical boundaries of the country. It means when you are exchanging or transferring goods from one place to another but within the country. So this is known as internal trade. Moving forward to external trade. Now external trade is classified into three categories. The first one is import, second one is export, and third one is entry port. So what is import? Now for example, if there are firms in country A, okay, if they are buying goods from firms in country B, it is known as import. It means you are buying goods from another country. So import. What is export? Export is when the firms in country A, they are selling the goods which are produced in their own country to another country, that is country B. So export is when you are producing the goods in your country but selling it to some other country. So this is import and export. So moving forward to the third type of trade, that is the entry port trade. Now what is entry port trade? Now you have to remember that if there are firms in country A, okay, what they do is the firms in country A, they will buy goods from firms in country B in order to sell it to country C. So you have to remember there are three countries, okay, first A, B and C. So country A is buying goods from country B in order to sell it to country C. So this is known as entry port. So what is entry port? Wherein you buy from another country not for personal consumption in your country but for further sale in another country. That is, A is buying from B to sell it to C. So this is about entry port trade. Now let's start with auxiliaries to trade. Auxiliaries to trade or H2 trade, they kind of provide a helping hand to the producer to ensure that there is a smooth flow of goods and services from the producer to the customer. Now we know that there are different activities which are involved in making the product available to the end customer. So all these activities, to ensure that these activities are going in a very free flow or in a smooth flow, H2 trade helps the producer in it. I will give you all an example. Now for example, there is a company in Goa, okay. Now this company in Goa is buying goods from Delhi. Now all the activities which have to be performed in order to ensure that the products come from Delhi to Goa come under H2 trade. Now for example, firstly is the transportation, because you have to buy the goods from Delhi and from Delhi it will come to Goa. So you require transportation. So transportation is the H2 trade. Secondly, when the goods arrive at Goa, you have to make arrangements to store it. So when you have to make arrangements to store the goods, it comes under warehousing. So warehousing is another H2 trade. Thirdly, about banking facilities, wherein you have to make payments through banks. So banking is another H2 trade. Fourthly, it can also be insurance, because when the goods are coming from Delhi to Goa, there could be damages due to loss in transit. So in order to cover those risks, you take insurance. So insurance is another H2 trade. Next could be your communication, because you use communication services in order to communicate to the seller through your postal and paid services and so on. So all these activities which were required in order to make the goods available from Delhi to Goa, all this comes under H2 trade, whether it was your transportation, your warehousing, your insurance, banking and so on. So this is about H2 trade. Under H2 trade, there is also one important component, it is advertising. Now we have to know the importance of advertising. When you advertise for your particular product, it creates an awareness in the mind of the customer, okay. An advertisement could be in any form. For example, it could be in the newspaper, in the magazine, in the radio or on the television. So when a customer comes across an advertisement and when he sees that particular product in any retail outlet, then he already has some information about the particular product. So there are more chances that he will buy the product because he has seen an advertisement of that particular product. So this is the impact that an advertisement can have on the customer. So advertisement also helps in order to maximize the sales, because it creates awareness in the mind of the customer. So advertisement is also a part of H2 trade. So with this, I have finished the first chapter, that is nature and purpose of business. So I have explained in different parts and this was the last part. wherein I have covered the entire unit of Business Studies Standard 11th. If there are any queries, any suggestions or any feedbacks, please put it down in the comment section. Also, I would like to request you all to please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.